Welcome to Recap King. In this video, we will explain Like Stars on Earth. This movie tells the story of a student who has dyslexia, cannot seem to get anything right at his boarding school. Soon, a new unconventional art teacher helps him discover his hidden potential. What is the story of the boy who is often considered the stupidest? Let's find out in Like Stars on Earth.
Like Stars on Earth.
Like Stars on Earth tells the story of Ishaan, an 8-year-old boy who has learning difficulties due to dyslexia. Even though he is in elementary school, Ishaan is still unable to read, write, and count. Ishaan is more interested in his surroundings than taking lessons in class. He also gets the title as the stupidest student in school. Ishaan has an older brother named Johan, who is very smart and excels in school, the complete opposite of Ishaan. However, Johan is very affectionate and caring for his younger brother. One day, Ishaan fights with Ranjit, who is none other than his neighbor. Ranjit was very upset that Ishaan threw the ball in the wrong direction. The boy then pushed Ishaan's tiny body hard and taunted him as an idiot. Ishaan gets a head wound in the fight, while Ranjit is bitten by Ishaan, who torn his clothes. The fight is known to their parents, where Ranjit and his mother go to Ishaan's house and hold Ishaan's parents accountable for his son's injuries. Though Ranjit's posture is bigger and stronger than Ishaan's, and Ishaan's injuries are much more. Even so, Nankishore, Ishaan's father, scolded his youngest son for fighting, and did not hesitate to beat him because he was considered a troublemaker. Nankishore even threatens to send Ishaan to boarding school if the boy continues to cause trouble. Meanwhile at school, Ishaan is also often scolded by his teachers for not listening to the lesson properly. One day, Ishaan was asked by his teacher to read a sentence, but he had trouble reading it and said that the letters danced so he couldn't read it. Suddenly, his teacher thought that the child was not serious about studying and scolded him a lot. Ishaan becomes the butt of his class and is considered a stupid student. Because he could not stand being scolded by his teacher and bullied by his friends at school, Ishaan then decided to skip class. He goes wherever he wants and does whatever he likes, without anyone nagging or making fun of him. Ishaan saw many things and learned many things with his imagination and curiosity. Although he was not good at reading and writing and arithmetic, he turned out to be quite gifted in the arts and often fills his spare time with drawing and painting. Ishaan then told his brother that this afternoon he skipped school and asked him to help him make a fake permit so he could skip school again. The next day, Ishaan and his classmates will take a math test. Because he is not good at arithmetic, Ishaan tries to do a math test with his imagination. But he needs quite a lot of time to do one question, so he can only answer one question until the end of the exam. No doubt, Ishaan also got a bad score on the test. One day, Ishaan's father accidentally finds a fake license that Ishaan uses to get him to skip school. He went on a rampage and scolded Ishaan for being caught truant. It didn't stop there. The school then called Ishaan and his parents, where the principal and the teachers explained that Ishaan couldn't follow all the lessons at school and thought that he was a stupid student. The principal then advises Nankishore to transfer Ishaan to another school because Ishaan has missed class once, and if he has to stay in class twice, he will have to be expelled from school. Reluctantly, Ishaan's father finally moved Ishaan to a boarding school. Ishaan tries to persuade his father not to be sent to a boarding school and promises to study harder. But his father's decision to send Ishaan to a boarding school was unanimous because Nankishore really hoped that his children would become high achievers. On the other hand, Maya, Ishaan's mother, looks sad and frustrated because of her inability to educate Ishaan. It actually causes her to be separated from her youngest son, who has to live in a dormitory and be separated from his family. Maya and Johan had to separate from Ishaan, who now had to live and attend a boarding school with a heavy heart. Ishaan couldn't accept that his father had the heart to send him to a boarding school. Ishaan can't stop crying because he misses his family and always looks gloomy. Feeling alone there, Ishaan quickly sinks into fear, anxiety, and depression, which is only exacerbated by the attitude of the teachers there, who are no better than his old school and his friends who often bullied him. His only friend is Rajan, a physically disabled boy who is one of the top students and resides with his family there, as his father is part of the school's board. Ishaan contemplates suicide one day, but Rajan prevents him. Ishaan increasingly feels imprisoned in the school because now he can no longer feel the caress of love and outpouring of attention from his mother and brother. Even the weekly visits from parents did not cure Ishaan's heartache because he was often bullied and ridiculed as an idiot at school. One day, at Ishaan's school, arrives a man named Shankar Nikumbh, who will replace Mr. Halkar as an art teacher. Because of his cheerful and pleasant demeanor, the students immediately became familiar with Mr. Nikumbh, but not so with Ishaan, who is often pensive and alone in class. Mr. Nikumbh's teaching style is markedly different from that of Mr. Halkar's, and he quickly notes Ishaan's unhappiness that day after he fails to draw anything during the class. Ishaan's slump is further exacerbated after his mother informs him that they can't come to see him next week because Johan is going to a tennis match, so their family will be there to support him. Mr. Nikumbh learns from Rajan that Ishaan is a new student who has difficulty following lessons. He then took the initiative to check Ishaan's textbooks and finally found out that Ishaan was dyslexic. Hence, the boy had difficulty listening to lessons at school using the methods taught in schools in general. Ishaan is not a stupid student. The child only needs special attention and guidance regarding his dyslexia. Mr. Nikumbh knows this because he was an instructor at the Tulip School for young children with developmental disabilities, so he understands how Ishaan finds it difficult to follow the learning methods in public schools. To help Ishaan learn and rise from his slump, Mr. Nikumbh is desperate to visit Ishaan's parents' house in Mumbai and inquire directly about Ishaan's condition to his family. He is surprised to discover Ishaan's hidden interest in art. However, his parents often neglect Ishaan's imagination, creativity, and talent in art and painting, especially his father, who thinks that being an artist is not great. Flustered, Mr. Nikumbh demonstrates to Ishaan's parents and Johan how Ishaan has extreme difficulty in understanding letters and words due to dyslexia, and his shortcomings in sports skills stem from his poor motor ability. Still, Ishaan's father labels it as mental retardation and dismisses it as laziness. Mr. Nikumbh tries to explain to Ishaan's father that Ishaan is not a stupid child and has great talent in art. However, Nankishore often compares Ishaan with Johan, who is very accomplished in academics and sports, and thinks that Ishaan can never become a great person if he is only talented in the arts. Mr. Nikumbh was instantly annoyed that Ishaan's father only saw the outside world as an arena of competition and urged his children to excel as he hoped, without ever thinking about what was best for their children and exploring their potential. After Mr. Nikumbh left, Maya thought back to his words while crying, thinking about fate. The next day at school, Mr. Nikumbh brings up the topic of dyslexia in Ishaan's class while mentioning a list of world-famous people who had dyslexia when they were little. Mr. Nikumbh explains that being dyslexic doesn't mean you can't be great. After that, he tells Ishaan that as a child, he also had dyslexia, just like him, so that he could understand Ishaan's difficulties and would help him study. At that day's lesson, Mr. Nikumbh asked the students to make crafts according to their own imaginations. Because he was free to create anything, Ishaan also poured all his imagination and made a very good craft and received appreciation from Mr. Nikumbh and his classmates. Mr. Nikumbh then goes to the principal and tries to convince him that Ishaan is a student who has above-average intelligence. The child just needs proper attention and guidance to explore potential and talent. Mr. Nikumbh tries to persuade the principal that he can be Ishaan's tutor who will help him listen to lessons at school. Knowing Ishaan's great talent in painting, the principal finally allowed Mr. Nikumbh to guide Ishaan over his studying difficulties. With gradual care, Mr. Nikumbh works to improve Ishaan's reading and writing by using remedial techniques developed by dyslexia specialists. Over time, Ishaan began to understand the lessons at school with the learning methods applied by Mr. Nikumbh. He guides Ishaan with care, patience, and fun to understand him more quickly. Ishaan can now read and write correctly and is good at arithmetic. One day, Nankishore visited the school and told Mr. Nikumbh says he and his wife have read about dyslexia and are starting to understand his son's condition. However, Mr. Nikumbh says what Ishaan really needs is more than understanding his condition as a dyslexic. Mr. Nikumbh says that Ishaan needs love and attention from those closest to him, especially his parents. Ishaan needs someone who will love him and accept him as he is, no matter his condition. Hearing the words of Mr. Nikumbh, Ishaan's father then realized that he had never done this to Ishaan because he always thought of Ishaan as a stupid and lazy child, so he often scolded and beat him. After that, Nankishore sees Ishaan reading the leaflet from the blackboard. He could not face his son with teary eyes and walked away from school without seeing his son. At the end of the school year, Ishaan's school organizes an arts and crafts contest for the school staff and all students, who will be judged by a great artist, Lalita Lajmi. Towards the start of the race, Mr. Nikumbh searches for Ishaan's whereabouts throughout the school, but he is nowhere to be found. It turned out that early in the morning, Ishaan had prepared and visited a lake not far from the school to find inspiration for the painting he would make in this competition. Ishaan finally returns to school a few minutes after the competition starts. Mr. Nikumbh immediately directs Ishaan to his place and asks the boy to join the race immediately. With his imagination and talent, Ishaan created a painting that amazed many people, including Mr. Nikumbh, who already knows his talent in painting and continues to explore the boy's potential and talents. Ishaan was also very moved when he found out that Mr. Nikumbh made a very good portrait of himself. Thanks to his hard work and sincerity, Ishaan finally won first place in the painting competition. Ishaan's painting was named the best work and will be used as the school yearbook cover, while Mr. Nikumbh, who painted Ishaan's portrait, was declared the runner-up champion. Everyone cheers for Ishaan's victory. Not only that, But the principal also announced that Mr. Nikumbh will work as a permanent art teacher at the school. When Ishaan's parents met with the principal on the last day of school before the long holiday, they were very surprised to find out that Ishaan's painting was made on the cover of the yearbook, and the principal praised Ishaan as a talented student. He felt very lucky that a talented child like Ishaan attended school. Ishaan's parents were also speechless when the teachers spoke about Ishaan's progress in several subjects, especially art. Seeing that their youngest son is now happy and excited again, can adapt well in school, and make proud achievements, Nankishore and Maya are very grateful to Mr. Nikumbh, who has guided Ishaan and has always supported Ishaan, and made him realize how important it is to pay attention to Ishaan according to the condition and abilities of the child, which is very different from his brother. Before leaving, Ishaan runs toward Mr. Nikumbh, who lifts him high up in a hug. The moral message of this film is that every child has their own potential and talent, where we can't beat it evenly if our children have to be like other children who are good at everything, especially in academics. Forcing our ambitions on children is actually much worse than child exploitation. We cannot force our desires and ambitions on our children, because that would be tantamount to colonizing our children's freedom to develop their talents and abilities, which will impact the child's mental condition, which will also affect him as an adult. So, love our children as they are, continue to develop the potential and talents of our children. Never hesitate to praise our children if they deserve appreciation, and advise them gently and wisely if they make mistakes.